Hello everyone, I am Nitika Arora and I am here to teach you chemistry of class 11th. Our first chapter of chemistry is some basic concepts of chemistry. Now as the name suggests, we have to start with the very basic concepts of chemistry. Now let's go into that deep knowledge first of all that what chemistry actually means. Till the class 10th, you have studied science as a whole subject which includes physics, chemistry and biology. But as you move to class 11th, now there are three different subjects, the physics, chemistry and the biology. Now what is chemistry? In the ninth class, you must have studied about matter. What is matter? Anything that occupies space and has mass is actually called as matter. So the anything which surrounds you, for example, the chair, the table, the marker, the board, the notebook, pen, water, air, these are all matter. Now, if we consider first of all water is matter. When we consider water, the first thing that comes in our mind is that it is liquid. Then the secondly, we can think upon that of what kind of particles water is made up of. Then the third, we can more go into deep details like how water reacts with acids, how water reacts with base or the metals or the non-metals. So what we are doing? We are discussing about the matter. We are considering the structure, the composition, the properties of matter. So what is this? This is actually chemistry. So what is chemistry? The branch of science which deals with matter, its composition, structure and properties. Now what is composition? If I consider water, water is H2O. It is composed of two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. So the composition of water is H2O, in which two hydrogen atoms combine with one oxygen atom. So when we are studying about matter, first of all we are considering the composition of the matter. Then its structure, that means how hydrogen and oxygen atoms are arranged together, how they are structured to form water molecules. And then properties, their physical properties, their melting point, boiling point, physical state, and then after that chemical properties like how water reacts with acid, how water reacts with base, metal or non-metal. So these are all the things that we discuss in chemistry. So it is the branch of science which deals with matter. So हमारे आसपास वो सब चीज़ें किन से मिलकर बनी है, किन पार्टिकल्स, किस एटम, किस मॉलिक्यूल से मिलकर बनी है, वो किस शेप में अरेंज्ड है, उसका क्या स्ट्रक्चर है, वो कैसे फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज़ क्या हैं, उसकी स्टेट क्या है, मेल्टिंग पॉइंट क्या है, डेंसिटी क्या है, वॉल्यूम कितनी ऑक्यूपाई करता है, फिक्स वॉल्यूम है या नहीं है, एंड देन द केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज़ दैट हाउ दे रिएक्ट विद अदर सब्सटेंसेस that we actually study in chemistry. Now if we go to the applications of chemistry, chemistry has vast applications. Let's start with the very near thing which is around you, that is your clothes. The clothes you wear are actually made up of fiber. That fibers can be natural fibers or artificial fibers. Nowadays most of the clothes we wear are made up of artificial fibers. The knowledge that we are getting about the fibers is actually from the chemistry only. These are from the chemical reactions you can make these new types of fibers. Similarly, if we see the switchboards, this whiteboard or even the marker, the composition of these substances, marker contain ethanol. That is also because of chemistry we know that. If we go to the medicine industry, the pharmaceutical industry completely is based upon the chemistry. The drugs, the medicines that we regularly use are actually because of the knowledge of chemistry. So chemistry has vast applications. If we go on writing the applications of chemistry, there will be many pages that will be filled with the applications of chemistry. So now let's begin with the very basic concept of chemistry. When we talk about chemistry, the first thing that comes in our mind is actually atom. What is atom? Atom is the smallest unit of matter. मैटर की सबसे स्मॉलेस्ट यूनिट को हम क्या बोलते हैं? एटम. एक्चुअली बहुत लॉन्ग टाइम अगो कुछ डिस्कवरीज हुई, कुछ फिलोसफिकल स्टडीज़ हुई जिससे एटम के स्ट्रक्चर के बारे में और एटम के बारे में पता चला. Long years back in India, there was a sage called Sage Kannada. He told that matter is anything is made up of very small particles called Anu or Parmanu. It's actually a philosophical study. He said that everything that surrounds us is made up of very small, very tiny particles which cannot be further divided. That's Anu or Param Anu, which means which cannot be further divided. At the same time, in Greece, there was a scientist, Democritus. Democritus gave a scientific theory about atom, that all matter is made up of very small, indivisible particles called atomos. Atomos means which cannot be further divided. So that's how the atoms came into the knowledge. The sage Kannada gave a philosophical theory, and that was unknown for a long time because there was no communication between India and Greece. So most people think that the idea of atom was actually given by Democritus, but actually it was given at the same time in India by the sage Kannada as well. So whatever the theory is, actually now we know that atom is the smallest unit of matter. Matter की वो सबसे छोटी basic repeating unit which cannot be further divided is actually the atom. But some of the atoms may exist independently in the nature. For example, you know that helium, neon, argon, krypton, they are so stable that they can exist independently in nature. But on the other hand, there are many atoms like hydrogen, like oxygen, like nitrogen. They don't exist in this form in the nature. Hydrogen always combines with one other hydrogen atom to form a molecule of H2. In this way it exists in nature. Similarly, chlorine is as such not stable in nature. Chlorine will combine with another chlorine atom to form a molecule of chlorine. So we can say that atom is the smallest unit of matter which may or may not be capable of independent existence. Some of the atoms may exist independently in the nature, but some of the atoms may not exist independently in the nature. Whether they exist independently or they don't exist independently in the nature, they are the smallest unit of matter. That's why we consider them as atom. In the 9th class, you must have studied about the symbols of atoms. You know that to present the symbols of atoms, we either use the first or second letter of their English name or the Latin name. Now, the symbol of hydrogen is H. It is the presentation of hydrogen, but it's not as such that it exists in nature. Hydrogen don't exist in this way in nature. If we have to write that in what way hydrogen exists in nature, hydrogen exists as H2 in the form of a molecule. The definition of molecule we will also do that. Similarly, chlorine does not exist as such in the nature. It exists in the form of Cl2 molecule because they are not stable independently. But these are symbols by which we can present them theoretically. Similarly, for the sodium we use Na. It actually comes from its Latin name natrium. That's why we call it as Na. Similarly, potassium has Latin name as kalium. That's why we gave the symbol K to the potassium. So these are the theoretical presentations of atoms which may exist or which may not exist independently in the nature. So far we have discussed what is chemistry, what are the applications of chemistry, what is actually an atom, and how the discovery of atom took place. Now we will discuss about the atomic mass, because we are discussing about atoms. So first of all we should understand that what is actually the mass of an atom. Now, atomic mass. As the name suggests, atomic mass means mass of an atom. But we know that atoms are very small in size. We cannot see them with our naked eyes. We know that atoms are spherical in nature, but we cannot measure the mass of an atom as such. So what do we need? We need a reference. We need actually we need a new scale to measure the mass of the atom. We cannot use grams or kilograms to measure the mass of an atom which is extremely small. Suppose I have to measure the height of a mountain which is very, very huge. Can I use that much scale to measure the height of the mountain? It will not be feasible. My scale is not correct. My unit is not correct. So when we are measuring something, we take the scale which is according to the substance which we are measuring. So when we are measuring the mass of an atom, we cannot take grams or kilograms because atoms are very, very small in size. And that's why scientists needed a different unit, a different scale to measure the mass of an atom. And they call it as atomic mass unit scale. The scale, the unit which is used to measure the mass of an atom. In short, it is called as AMU, atomic mass unit. But then they needed a reference with respect to which they can measure the mass of an atom. For example, when we say that the person A is heavier than person B and the person C is much heavier than both B as well as A. So we are comparing the B and C with respect to the person A. So we need a reference with respect to which we can check that which atom is heavier or which atom is lighter. For that reference, scientists took hydrogen as a standard. They took hydrogen as standard because it's the lightest element, so they randomly give the value 1 to hydrogen. They said that okay, let's assume that hydrogen has mass 1U or 1. So with respect to hydrogen, we can calculate, we can measure the mass of different atoms. For example, the mass of one carbon atom is 12 times the mass of one hydrogen atom. If we compare one carbon atom and one hydrogen atom, we can say that carbon is 12 times heavier than mass of one hydrogen atom. So that's why they give the mass of carbon as 12 AMU. Similarly, oxygen was 16 times heavier than hydrogen, so they gave hydrogen as mass 16 AMU because it was 16 times heavier than mass of one hydrogen atom. But after some time, scientists realized that taking hydrogen as a reference is not a very good idea because hydrogen has 3 isotopes, 1H1, 2H1 and 3H1. You know that hydrogen has 3 isotopes, one having mass 1U, another one having mass 2U and the third one having mass 3U. So how can we know that the hydrogen atom which we are taking has mass 1U or 2U or 3U? So we cannot compare, we cannot take a reference with it which is not very much sure, about which we are not very much sure that the reference which we are taking has mass 1 or 2 or 3. So they changed their reference from hydrogen to carbon, and especially the carbon 12 isotope. The isotope of carbon which has mass 12. They took it as a standard and they calculated the masses of other atoms with respect to that carbon 12 atom, and we call it as relative atomic mass. So what is relative atomic mass? Actually, the mass of an atom with respect to mass of one C12 atom. ऐसा नहीं था कि अब उन्होंने हाइड्रोजन की जगह कार्बन को एज अ रेफरेंस यूज किया तो उन्होंने कार्बन को 1U दे दिया. नो, they gave carbon as 12U. And with respect to carbon, for example, mass of one oxygen atom is 16 by 12 times heavier than mass of one C12 atom. So it can be given as mass 16 by 12 and mass of one carbon atom is 12 AMU. So we can say that mass of one oxygen atom is 16 AMU. That's how they decided the mass of other atoms with respect to mass of one C12 atom. Now why did they choose carbon 12? Because carbon 12 is most abundant element. Our body is made up of carbon and its compounds. In the nature, in the free state, carbon has a very huge abundance, especially carbon 12 isotope. So out of 100 atoms of carbon, almost 98 will be of carbon 12 only. That's why there was no problem of isotopes which we were facing earlier for the hydrogen. That's why they took carbon as a standard, and with respect to carbon they started calculating the masses of other atoms, and we call it as relative atomic mass. Now what is 1 AMU? We know that mass of one carbon atom is 12 AMU, and for hydrogen has mass 1/12 of the mass of one carbon 12 atom. तो 1 कार्बन 12 एटम का मास है 12 AMU, एंड उसका हम अगर 1/12 टाइम्स करेंगे, 1/12 टाइम्स ऑफ 12 AMU, we will get the value as 1 AMU or 1 U. So scientists said that 1 AMU. Why do we define 1? Whenever we use a new unit, for example, we define 1 volt, 1 ampere, 1 joules. So similarly, we have to define 1 AMU. So 1 AMU is actually the mass equal to exactly 1/12 of the mass of one C12 atom. But nowadays, we don't use AMU, we use it as short U. U stands for unified mass. You know that carbon has mass 12 U, oxygen has mass 16 U, nitrogen has mass 14 U, hydrogen has mass 1 U, sulfur has mass 13 U. So these are all the relative atomic masses of atoms. That means the mass of atom with respect to mass of one C12 atom. When we say relative atomic mass, it actually refers to the number of times an atom of an element is heavier than 1/12 of the mass of carbon 12 atom.